How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you guys can tell, I'm allowed to wear a hat again. If you didn't know, I recently had a hair transplant. Check out my last two videos, you can see the absolute mess that is my head at the moment. In fact, here it is, it's healing, it's gonna be like this for a while, and then eventually I will have hair. The recent product catch that I did myself is also live on my Patreon as we speak. If you do want to go check that out, feel free to click the link in the description down below and donate a small amount of money. The money is completely non-profit. I don't take any of that money for my own personal use. It's only there to make this type of content. It's there to pay for lawyers, travel to meet these people to message these people full-time who I have to train and make sure that they know the laws. I train them with lawyers as well, so you can see how much money that bloody costs. And obviously it pays for everything on the back end of this channel. It stops me reaching into my own pocket to pay for lawyers, pay for editors and all of this sort of stuff that would cost me too much money otherwise. I wouldn't be able to do this without your help, so I greatly appreciate everybody that does that. I was sent a link to the video I'm reacting to today multiple times by different people. I haven't seen any of the video yet, so we're going to go through this together. I'm going to see what they've done right, what they've done wrong, and what they should do maybe next time that would be better. As I said, I've had about 2 years experience in this sort of field. I speak to lawyers every day with this type of topic, and I've picked up a lot of legal issues that have crept up in my work that I can sort of pass on to other people. So without any further hesitation, let's get into the video.
Hi, Jonathan.
Yeah.
You want to step outside and have a conversation real quick?
So where they're meeting this femself in the shopping mall, they also include the place that she works. As you can see from the beginning of the intro, they include the name of this place. This could make them liable for prosecution later on down the line for libel, slander, or defamation of character against the business. Because they've included the business's name and their whereabouts in this video, the business may lose money as a result from the original video. Because of that, the business could sue for the losses because of this video, if that makes sense. Again, it's not the business's fault that this has happened. The business doesn't know, I hope, that they've employed somebody like this, and they should be let off scot-free.
Alright, so you should probably go somewhere more private.
I know what this is about.
Okay.
So he's mentioned that he knows exactly what this is about. This means that at a later date he can't wiggle out of this by saying that he was completely entrapped. He knows what it's about. Almost proves beyond a reasonable doubt that he knows what he's done is wrong. Otherwise, he wouldn't be following them and trying to explain himself here.
You said you know what this is about. What is it about?
The kid, the 13-year-old who wants to come over and do bad things. And I know that it looks bad how I texted it.
Oh, this is about the 13-year-old that wants to come over and do bad things. I don't think that's how it works. And if it has worked like that, if they have been the ones to set this up in a way that they are the ones ensuing the sexual conversation, then you can get away scot-free. But as a moral standpoint, it doesn't make sense that a 13-year-old is the one trying to do bad things because they are 13. You are in your 20s. You should know better. The legal burden of the sexual intent here wouldn't lay on the 13-year-old. It would lay on the person doing the sexual intent with the 13-year-old. The reason there's a legal age limit in different countries is because that's the age that people assume that people are at the right mental capability to understand what their actions can do, i.e. become pregnant.
Take your mask down, please.
Yeah.
So he wanted to come over, or how did it go exactly?
He texted
And
me.
how old is he?
13.
Okay, and how old are you?
22.
Okay, and your name is John?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what had texted me on Grindr basically was
You need to put
messaging.
your mask down, I cannot hear you.
Was texting me on Grindr.
Okay.
Ended up just getting my Instagram because he was asking for it. I asked, did you have Snap or Insta? He just said Insta.
So what he says here could be a key part of information that will be later on relayed in trial. He says that he messaged me on Grindr. If Jonathan here didn't start the conversation, if he was approached by a predator hunting group saying the first thing, like, hey, this is all seen as entrapment. This could all be seen as entrapment because of that. depending on which judge you get, depending on which jury you get, depending on what state you're in, and all of these little factors that will play a small role eventually, this could be seen as entrapment because they have initiated the conversation. They have sought to find a predator. The way I do this, and the reason why I hire lawyers and why I did from the start, is because if I message someone first, in the UK, my case goes nowhere. And I let somebody dangerous get off scot-free. They have to have messaged me first. I then have to let them be aware of my age, and if they carry on conversation, they are in the wrong. I can't message them first. It throws the entire case out. But on the other hand, they have included a link in the description down below of the initial conversation. They haven't included the conversation from Grindr, but they have included the conversation from Instagram. And on Instagram it says, yo, hey, what's up lol, bored at home chilling. Grindr is so annoying. So on Instagram, this guy had messaged first, but they have not left any proof in from Grindr as far as I can see. So the case could still be thrown out because of this. Yes, it's stupid. Yes, I don't agree with it, but that's the law.
So, gave it to me, added him on there. That's when he told me he was 13. And I basically said, you know, why are you on Grindr at 13?
Okay, you messaged him first on Grindr, correct?
Yes, I did, but his age was not on there.
Oh, well, that massive rant goes out the window. I'm sorry, but at least you have more information. He's just admitted to messaging first on Grindr. Everything I said means nothing. Brilliant. Could have probably watched this video before I recorded. That might have been better, wouldn't it?
Okay, but what's his age on Grindr? It was 18. Okay, and then okay, so what did he say?
Basically that he was 13 on there. I went in at first saying, listen, you're 13, why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I get it, I grew up in that rough crowd, but at that point, yeah, we just messaged.
Okay, so you knew he was 13 though?
Yeah.
And then you said, why are you even worried about getting dick right now?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but I guess that's gay lingo for why are you trying to get laid? Or maybe it's American lingo for trying to get laid. Why are you worried about dick right now? Like, why would you be worried about, like, why? That's such a stupid sentence. Imagine you're both of legal age, right? And your missus walks in. Or if you're gay, your man walks in, right? And then you turn around and you're like, you worried about getting dick right now? Like, I don't see that being in addition to any sort of mood. Are you worried about, why would you be worried about it unless it was a bad thing? Unless you had like a small cocktail sausage penis, then yes, I'd understand why your partner might be worried about getting dick right now. But like in a normal setting, I don't understand Americans, man. I don't understand that saying. That's weird as fuck to me.
And so at first it seems like you weren't okay with it, but then you go on to say...
I went on to say that basically, were you a virgin, all of that. I started asking questions I really shouldn't have been asking.
Boys your age just ain't doing it for you. Boys your age just ain't doing it for you?
Yeah.
You can see where this sort of conversation is going. He can't really rely on the fact that he's being innocent in this. He's asking about worried penises. He's asking like, oh, are guys your age just not good enough? Like that's sort of implying he needs an older man. He's acting like he's innocent in this and he was just messaging as a friend, but you can tell from what he said here that that's not the case.
I'm gonna let you know now, I had no intention of picking this kid up, honestly.
Okay, well you want him to come here and meet you.
He asked
That's why
me
we're
to
here.
meet publicly, yes. And I said, why don't you stop by my job? But I even told him beforehand and in those messages, hey. Okay.
So again, in the conversations, he says that the child asked to meet. Again, that's an initiation of a conversation. The best way to do this, and the way that I've always done it, is I let them say, do you want to meet? I can entice it. I can say, oh, it's a shame you don't want to meet. But I can't say, do you want to meet? If that makes sense. Little tricks in the words there play a massive difference in court. Because one is asking flat out about a meeting and the other is implying you want to meet. An implication of a crime is only an implication. A flat out crime isn't. Do you know what I mean? You're
one of them, correct?
I don't sleep with children.
Okay, but you called him young, cute, and everything like that.
And I said that there are people out there that
this is not a man. You said he's a young, cute boy. Like, this is a child. This is 13 years old. This is a boy.
I understand.
And so when he told you were 13, why did you keep going on and on with him?
Honest to God, just off of my experiences as a kid, I'm just gonna say this now. Had no intentions of sleeping with the kid. I know I said
So did
maybe.
this happen to you when you were a kid? Were you hanging around older people?
If I had £1 for every single time I saw a confrontational video like this, or I confronted one of these people myself, and they said I wasn't going to do anything, I was just trying to warn them away from doing it, I would be rich. I would be very rich. The Dior hat I'm wearing would be real, not fake, from Bovingdon Market for £7.50. Like, this is such a common thing that people say, and it's so cliche, because we can't prove what's going on in your head. You could genuinely, in your heart of hearts, in your brain of brains, and you swear on your family's life, you could genuinely believe that you weren't going to do anything with a child. But all we can go off is what evidence we've got, and the evidence says otherwise. You've attempted to meet this child, you've attempted to engage in sexual conversations with this child, and you haven't at any point said you didn't want to do it until now. So based off all the evidence, that seems like an excuse. Do you see what I'm saying? We can't prove people's faults. We don't have capability to put a hat on someone and know exactly what they think. So unfortunately, this means nothing.
And I just.
And how did that make you feel?
Like, of course it did. I wasn't gonna sleep
And how
with
did it
this
end
kid.
up? How did it end?
Like shit, because it was weird being a 15-year-old in a group of 20-year-olds.
And then what happened? He just didn't want to talk to you anymore?
No, I broke up with him.
Okay.
After
and so,
a while.
but after now you're what, 22 years old, and now you look back and what do you feel about that?
When I see someone text him like that, I don't want to sleep with him, but I just want to be more. I guess in my mind, I was just trying to be more like a friend.
But I'm
big
saying
brother
when this
type.
happened to you when you were 15, how did that make you feel now that you're 22 years old and you look back on the situation? How does that make you feel?
Me, I mean, I feel upset for myself. Like, back then, I wish maybe I took a different path.
So if you feel bad for yourself because you went through that experience at that age, why would you put another child, even younger than you were, at risk of exactly the same thing? If you genuinely believe that it was the worst experience in your life and you regret it and you feel bad for yourself, why push that onto someone else? People have the ability to do two things in life. They can repeat the abuses that they received as a child, or they can change that and stop the path of destruction. Pick the second option.
Okay,
I
that's not
understand
what all
what
this
this-
says. Let's be
that all
honest.
of
We
that
want to
says.
get you help and resources because we could honestly just call the cops here.
No,
You know, and it's going to be
understand
bad.
that.
You
No,
know,
I
and
understand
it's
that.
we just want to get to the bottom of, you know, the truth here. We want the truth, and you know, when you're talking about you want to have a three-way with him, yes or no? You said that. Yes or
I
no?
did, yes, I did say
Okay.
that.
But you just said a few seconds ago that you only wanted to be friends with this person. The last time, do you know what? I'm gonna call one of my friends, because this is something that friends do, right? They ask each other for threesomes. Watch them not answer. Okay, I've got no friends. So embarrassing.
And you were planning on doing that. Whether
No.
you did right now and he was real and he came here or not, but that was what you thought about doing.
No. And the only reason
You said it.
I said it, and yes, that's bad on my part because I did say it. And honest to God, I thought worst case scenario, he was gonna come, he was gonna be like, oh, this is weird, leave.
The worst case scenario was he was going to say this is weird, leave. Why is that a worst case? Like, how's that the worst case scenario? That's the best case scenario if a real child turned up. Him going, this is weird, leave. If that's your worst case scenario, it almost sounds like you've got that scale flipped around, and your best case scenario would be him staying. It's a Freudian slip. He doesn't mean to say this. He's under pressure, and this is a slip.
But I always put it with a maybe, and I know that doesn't help my situation, but it really was
Yeah,
because
it doesn't help your
made,
situation. Maybe you want to have a threesome with a 13-year-old boy.
No.
That's fucking disgusting.
It is.
That's horrible.
It is. I shouldn't have even said it.
Did he really think that saying maybe at the beginning of a sentence would get you off? Like, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Like, he's clearly got some sort of legal understanding, but he just doesn't understand what he knows, if that makes sense. Like, he knows that he's not allowed to flat out say, do you want to have a threesome? So he thinks maybe if I say maybe we could have a threesome, that changes it. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. Imagine you're on your boyfriend's, your girlfriend's, your mum's, your dad's phone, whatever, right? And you see a message from there from somebody you don't know saying, maybe we should have sex tonight. You're not going to go, well, do you know, he didn't say, let's have sex, so let's get him off scot-free. Ah, yeah, that doesn't mean anything, does it? What the like, come on.
You said you're young, petite, and some old men will go crazy for that.
Yeah, I said that. And not in a way of like, oh, I'm looking at you and I want to f you, but there are sex traffickers here.
But you just admitted to saying that you wanted to... Oh my god. The intelligence is screaming at me.
In that sexual way.
What are you talking about? It's a dad and a son. What about that is attractive to
like,
you?
okay,
That's
porn.
disgusting. Okay, and porn is fucked up too, and this is why there's kids out here being touched and molested.
Not
This is why
kid
we do
porn,
what we
not
do.
Kid
I don't
porn.
care. Even
It's
anything that's
adult
depicting
porn.
anything like
Daddy's son. Bro, I'm a father, and nothing makes me feel more sick than daddy's son porn. Like, what the flip, bro? What? How is that what you're into? Does your dad know about this? Maybe. Oh god, man, no, that's not right. Just watch. I don't know, Riley Reid or oh wait, no, you're gay. Johnny Sins. Hell. Why are you watching that sort of stuff, man? That's weird.
an actual child.
Yeah, because
So-
then who knows what could have happened. But
We know what would have happened. But
thank you both for one, just coming out. I know that I'm a piece of shit person. At the end of the day, that shouldn't have happened. And I'm going to look into getting help.
yeah. And this is,
It is,
you know,
and
and
I
you
don't
do
want
need
that.
serious help.
And I don't want that on my record. And it kind of opened my eyes when you started talking about some of that.
Yeah, we can give you some resources as well. Do you have an email?
I don't. Oh, wait, I have an email.
Because we can send you some resources to help you. I'll just take it down.
This is bizarre to me. He's apologizing for what he's done, and rightly so, he should. But he's also sort of trying to do this. There's something called the Stockholm Syndrome, right? If you guys have ever seen Money Heist, they call one of the people Stockholm because they've got Stockholm Syndrome. So in this position, he's looking at these people, his captors. They've caught him doing something, and he's trying to get on their side. He's trying to become friendly with them. Oh, you guys are doing an amazing job. And they're just saying, yeah, we are. We're going to let you off. We're not calling the police. We'll give you help. No, that's not your job. You don't know if he's messaging other people. Like, you don't, do you? If he's messaging 2 real children on his phone, and you've just let him go home and destroy all of that evidence, those 2 lives have been affected, and you could have done something about it. This could have affected an ongoing case with the police where he's actually messaging a real sting operation account done by the police. And because of this video, he might go home tonight and delete all the evidence, and they've lost that entire case, and he gets off scot-free for the rest of his life. You have to call the police. It's your legal duty to. I'm not sure how this works in some states, but because this is a federal crime, and they're not calling the police, and they're aiding him of getting away with it, as in, we're going to give you help instead of calling the police. This could be seen as aiding and abetting a federal crime. You could be seen as an accessory after the fact because of this. It's very unlikely you'll get arrested. Very unlikely. But it's something to think about. You have to call the police in this situation. I've just skimmed through the rest of the video, and yeah, they just let him go home. Police aren't called. He's gone. They've let him get away with it. It's bizarre to me when people say this though, because they will set up an account like this, and they'll say to these people, look, we're going to get you help instead, but we're also just going to plaster you all over social media and ruin the rest of your life anyway, so like, fuck it, why not? So what is your goal here? Because your goal isn't to get them arrested, and your goal isn't to do the right thing and sort of get a criminal record against this person and teach him a proper lesson so he stops doing it. And your goal isn't to help him, otherwise you wouldn't post the videos online. So what is your end game here? Are you doing this? I don't know. What do you guys think? If I look at this video, right, and I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, they were very calm, they were very understanding, they weren't aggressive in any way, they pulled him away from a dangerous situation at work, they let him remove himself into a place where people couldn't hear, they didn't shout. These are all good things. In that sense, I'll give them a 10. The fact they didn't call the police, the fact that they don't intend to call the police is a 0. Like, that's fundamentally the worst thing that these groups can do. I've spoken to a lot of these American catching groups, and a lot of them call the police after the fact, a lot of them call the police beforehand, a lot of them are told not to call the police and to email the evidence. I've spoken to a lot of these groups. I'm not sure if this particular group has the same sort of effect. Maybe they have a in-house contact in the police force locally to them and they can just email it across. I don't know. But the fact that they seem to let him get off and they tell him, we're not going to call the police, that's a red flag in my books. I'll give this video a rating of 5 out of 10, 10 out of 10 on execution, 0 out of 10 on execution. Fair enough. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe out there. Peace.